everybody, and welcome back to VTOL VR, and welcome to my channel, which is now called VR Sims. I changed the name because apparently that's a better way to go forward. And in the future, I'm probably planning to do some racing on iRacing VR. So hopefully those videos will be coming onto the channel. Hence the name VR Sims. I didn't want to limit it to the flight sims or to VTOL. So this is a small, mini, limited series, which is called Responding to Your Comments. And I just want to go through a number of comments I received over the last couple of weeks or months. Thank you for all the lovely support. I got some really good positive comments and constructive feedback. Thank you for all that. I got so many new subscribers. Also, thank you for that. Maybe it doesn't mean a lot to you, but it means a lot to me to help me put out this content and keep the channel going forward. So as I was saying, I want to address some of the comments that were made in a number of videos I posted, some of them about the helicopter, other about the F-45 stealth research and so on. So I will address each and every one of those, but we are starting today with the AH-94. I did a small weapon introduction and tutorial, and in that video I was talking about the stealth capabilities of this helicopter and the fact that the radar or FCR is located on the top of the helicopter. So in theory, you should be able to identify the targets through the FCR whilst being hidden behind a hill or some sort of shelter. And then send those GPS targets, or send the radar targets to your GPS, from GPS to your TADS, and then you will be able to fire off your ballistas also whilst behind the shelter. So that's the stealth idea. So that it's a real stealth, not a radar stealth as with the other aircraft. And when I tried that, I failed miserably. And basically, for me, it was picking up targets at the same time on TADS. So the optical camera is on the nose of the helicopter at the same time as it is picked up by the FCR, which is on the top. So there is a height difference that should allow the FCR to identify the target first. It didn't work out for me, and as it stands, I just wasn't close enough to the shelter for this to work. And it does make sense, because the farther away you are from the shelter, the speed or the height difference is less prominent, and you need to move upwards in smaller increment in order for that to work. So I didn't do it in the wrong way. I was called out on it, so I'm addressing it now. I tried this offline and it works, so I'm going to show you now. So in this map, which is just a target practice, so the enemies are not shooting, we're going to use a very simple way to prove that this is working properly. So we're going to use those beach targets. There are 4 targets on the beach, so they're stationary targets, and we're going to use that building right there. So we're going to get close to that building and then pop up, identify a target, send it to the GPS, from there to TADS, and then we're going to fire off the rocket from behind that building. We're going to just move further back to allow the rocket to circumnavigate around the building and hit the target. And that way I have identified and destroyed the target without ever being detected by them or being shot at, which is the idea of the stealth of this helicopter. Later on, we're going to try that in an actual mission. So the same mission I did last time, the Arctic Assault. I'm going to show you where I was unsuccessful last time. And we're going to tackle some of the targets at the very end of the mission, the mobile air defense systems, and we're going to destroy one of those in this way, just so you can see how this works in theater. So without further ado, let's get airborne and let's do this now. So let me switch back to cockpit. Many times I recorded the videos and then I found that I didn't switch the cameras back, and then I had to do it again. So yesterday I did one video and I just forgot to change it back, so I had to do this again. So let's go to radar. We're going to turn it on. I'm not going to touch the elevation at the moment. Some people have said the elevation might make a difference, but I think a default -7 is okay. It's how the radio waves are sent, probably below the nose at a certain degree. I don't know how it works. If you do know, post a comment or let me know, because I would like to know how that works. So we're going to set the radar. Let's increase the range a little bit. We're going to open TADS here, turn it on. We're going to send it to the waypoint. So if you click waypoint on the TADS, it's going to send TADS to whatever waypoint you define through the objectives. Very neat feature. So this is it. Let's get airborne. We are all ready. Okay, we don't have to go anywhere fast. Oops, let's get the gear up. Okay, so the radar is already picking up those beach targets. You can see them over here, and you can see them in your heads-up display. And as soon as we move behind the obstacle, they're going to disappear, as they should, because we have a hard obstacle between us. Okay, and now we need to get closer to the building, or as close as possible. Actually, so close that I want my propellers to be very, very close to the building. Okay, let's start losing some speed, get the nose up, collect it a little bit down. Always keep an eye on the ground. Okay, I'm going to grab a flight collector just so I can switch into hover mode. Okay, try to do most of your navigation whilst in manual mode because hover is very, very restricted. Okay, so shed more speed. Okay, and now let's switch to hover, center the altitude line, and then let the helicopter settle down a little bit. Okay, for some reason I'm drifting to the right. Okay, this didn't work. I really dislike the hover mode on this helicopter. It's good to keep you in the air while you do some other stuff, but navigating with it is impossible task. Okay, this is a little bit too close. Okay, so I'm pretty crap at doing this. Okay, let's see if it will be any better now. I will let it settle down completely, then I will twist the joystick. And then we can get a little bit closer, just a little bit. So small movements. Okay, so I'm going to, I'm just going to use the TADs to demonstrate that the target is not visible here, but it's visible there. Later on, I'm going to lose this lock and then show you how to do this from the radar. Okay, let's get a little bit more close, a little bit closer. Okay. And now, so what we see are the boats. Ignore them. The target should be right there. So let's start climbing up whilst in hover. Okay, so we can look at the heads-up display and see when the targets are going to show up. Okay, there we are. So we can start going a little bit down. Okay, there we go. So as you can see, we have the target here. Here we don't see it because it's hidden by the building. So that works beautifully. Okay, we're gonna move this to, let's say, a forward look. So then, okay, the tricky bit working in hover is when you are in this seat, is that you will instinctively move the joystick up or down, and then you will use your hover. That's why it's better to do it from the gunner seat, but I don't want to switch around now, so bear with me. So select, lock, send to GPS, okay, and we can check on the GPS that it's there. Then we're going to go to TADS. We're going to say GPS acquire. Now it's pointing me to that target. Now we lost it from the radar. So let's try. This is too close for the LOL to work, but I'm going to try it anyway. Okay, let's switch to the missile. And there you have it. Target destroyed from behind the building. I'm even amazed that the rocket was able to go around the building or over it at such short distance. But it doesn't work every way all the time, so just be careful. So let's switch back. Yeah, so that's it. Now you can just repeat the process a number of times until you have destroyed all the targets. But let's see how this works in an actual mission. Okay, let's get ourselves airborne. Let's use TADS here. Everything is set up, so we can just take off.
Waypoint marks the enemy position. A rocket artillery has been laying down fire, so we need you to scout it out and check the damage. If you find any live targets, we'll send another volley and you can clean up anything that's left.
Again, the good thing about the radar is that it tells you the type of the target. So here, when we click on it, okay, it says it's a bunker. So we need a stronger weapon than the AH-145s to pierce that bunker. That would be like a GBU-39 or something. Okay, so first we are going to repeat the same test as I did last time around. Okay, so it was just behind this hill. There was another small valley where we are going to make that handbrake turn, lose the speed, and then position ourselves just close to that ridge. Okay, so here we are. So let's lose the speed. So hard left turn, collective down. Keep an eye on the speed. Make sure you don't hit the ground. And then once you're happy, you can then start losing more speed and start approaching the... Okay, so we know that the targets are dead ahead. Now with the hills, there is a challenge to getting closer to them because they're sloped, they're not perpendicular to the ground as the buildings are. So if you start going down, you will most likely hit the hill and crash. Okay, so not quite close yet, so there's another little ridge. Otherwise, it's not going to work. Okay, so there's a flat part here, so we can now start moving forward a little bit. Let's increase the range on the radar. So waypoint, as you can see, we don't see the targets. They're still obscured. We still don't see them on the radar. And moving forward, it should... Okay. Okay, so we have another little hill, so I should be a little bit further to the right. It's this bridge that needs to be in front, not that one. Okay, so now we can see some targets, but admittedly I'm way over the ridge, so I'm gonna go back. Hopefully I'm not going to hit anything. Okay, so now this little hill is not in the way, so let's get the other one behind us in the way. Okay, I'm keeping an eye on the tats. Again, further to the right. Okay, sorry, my bad. I messed up this approach completely. Okay, so we need to be right about there. Okay, I'll switch off the hover, and it's going to be easier for me to manually navigate. There's a nice sharp ridge right here. That's what we want to use, and the targets are then obstructed only by that. Okay, so I think we have ideal testing conditions now, and as you can see, we don't see it here, we do see it there. So this, oops, let's put this forward. Okay, we started going down, as I said. That's the problem with this seat. So again, GPS sent, GPS acquired, and that's it. Okay, let's get this over with now, because I want to carry on with the mission.
It looks like we need to keep hammering. Sending another fire order.
Yeah, let's destroy those tanks while the artillery deals with... Oops. Let's finish off these targets.
Good work. A few tanks must have broken off from the main group. They've been spotted moving through the valley in our direction. Find them and take them out before they get too close. Good. Thanks for the help. Getting back on track, we have the general location of another enemy station. Scout out the next waypoint so we can direct the artillery.
Okay, there's a second part of the mission, but most important for us is the third part. So I'm going to try and get this over with rather quickly. Probably skip through the video a bit.
Enemy positions confirmed. Sending the fire order. Watch out for air defenses and don't get too close. We don't want you to become collateral damage. You're clear to engage any remaining targets.
Altitude. 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 Altitude.
Okay, so first we need to destroy that mobile air defense in that little camp.
Missile launch.
Okay, so that's artillery doing most of the work in that camp. Let's just check if anything remains. So this is where the radar comes in handy. You go into radar, and then rather than to look for them visually,
Launch.
you can just... Oops! We are exposing ourselves to the mobile air defenses, which we didn't want to do.
Missile launch. Chaff flare. Chaff flare. Chaff flare.
Okay, so I think this is safer now. Okay, swap. Let's see if anything stay there. Okay, just two. The good thing here is that you don't have to visually find them. You can use your radar. Okay, so I think that's the second objective done. Just one more. Okay, let's try and find that final target. We can use the radar. Actually, what I forgot to mention, very stupid of me, is that here there's a function called slave, which means that once you identify the target on the radar, you can immediately send it to your optics rather than to going through the whole GPS thing. Sorry, my bad. I completely forgot about that option. Okay, so there's one target that's eluded us. Okay, there it is. With that slave. And then let's run.
Missile launch. Chaff flare. Chaff flare. Chaff flare.
Targets destroyed. We're advancing the bombers to strike the main base, but there's a line of air defenses further up the valley. We don't have time to wait, so you'll have to disable them ASAP. These are long-range defense systems, so you should be able to get closer than their effective minimum range.
Okay,
Make haste.
so
The bombers are relying on you.
just waiting for this guy to finish. Okay, so what we want to do now is get the waypoint for the MAD. I'm just going to destroy one of them. I don't have to go through the whole thing. But bottom line is, in the actual mission, this is how the stealth will work. So we're gonna find shelter right close to that top of the hill. Okay, let's use here TADS, say waypoint, because I want to be able to see it. And let's find a good spot. Okay, I think we're pretty good here. Go into hover. And just let it settle. Okay, 0 speed, so we're going to move a little bit forward. And a touch up. Make sure the other targets don't see you at the same time, because they are widely spread. They're spread across this valley, so there's always a chance. Okay. Oops. I landed.
Missile launch.
This is so tricky. Okay, there we go. So we don't see the targets. We see them on the radar. This was very tiring. So now the same deal. We're going to pick one of those. We're basically sitting on the ground. I think we can even land. Okay, yeah. So I landed. So then slave it to TADS. And then I'm just gonna take off. I'm gonna move a little bit back. And let's send one. Okay, not LOAL.
Missile launch.
Okay, let's see what the missile is doing. And there we go, it hit the target. Now, granted, I didn't really shoot it behind the obstacle, but I just lost a little bit of patience there because it was getting very tricky to fly the helicopter. Okay, we can finish up on this note. So basically, I was wrong, you were right. I have no problems admitting it. Now I've corrected myself. This is the proper way to do it. It's a little bit tricky with the hover and everything, but this is the way you can go about destroying the targets. Especially, these are not too volatile, so you can pop out, shoot, and pop back down. But there would be certain missions when you would be required to do it this way if you don't want to be detected or if you don't really shut down. Helicopters are very slow. They're very easy targets to the anti-air defenses. So I think this is a very cheeky way to destroy targets, but it's a proper way. So this was pretty much the end of the part 1. Next, what I want to do is I want to do a bit more research on this F-45 stealth capabilities. There are some inputs I got from you which I want to test out, mainly in different speed, different approach to the target, side on, roll the wings a little bit, expose the top cross section, bottom top section, see how that affects it. But I also want to look at the F-45 stealth mission. I'm going to show you 2 different ways how you can do this basically undetected. And also there was one request to do a very basic grounds up tutorial on F-26B and how to use the different air-to-ground weapons. So I will do a full tutorial for the weapons on the FA-26B, but very, very basic for the very beginners. Also, I would like to announce something else. what I would like to do is I would like to invite some of you guys who need this kind of basic training to fly one-on-one mission with me, either in the helicopter, so we can do it in the same helicopter, or we can take two F-45s or two F-26, and we can set up a session on the multiplayer, and I can then teach you live. I don't ask anything from you apart from actually making a video like this, so that we can use that session and put it out so that everybody else can see. So if you do have that, send me an email, which will be somewhere here on the screen. Send me an email, let me know which time zone you are in, and we're going to try and work out something together, and we're going to get together on multiplayer and do that. So until next time, have a lovely day.